AI will not replace people. People who use AI will replace people who don't use AI.
So hello and welcome to our very first podcast episode of our new podcast Under Review. Today we're talking about 5 flows thinking of AI and what kind of impact it has on the packaging and branding industry. And I'm very excited because today I have with me our CTO Sriram, who will talk about his point of view, what 5 flow actually is developing. And yes, Sriram, welcome. I'm very happy you're here with me.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. I'm really excited to be here. Again, my name is Sriram Upadhyayula. I'm not asking anybody to spell my name here, but I'm the CTO of Propelis, and also I'm the president of 5flow. I started my career as a developer, and over the last 25 years, I've worked on various digital transformation projects, data transformation projects, analytics, and AI for a lot of various Fortune 500 companies. And today, a big part of my focus is applying AI on real-world challenges which are facing our industry and how I can operationalize that and take it to scale. And honestly, this is one of the most exciting technology shifts I've ever seen in my career. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I can figure that. So my first question is, so you are leading the AI revolution at Propelis, and you recently challenged the team to really keep up. For packaging and brand teams listening, how do you see them doing the same? And what does it actually look like to lead the shift in their world?
So what I meant by that is, I think a lot of folks actually get too much hung up in AI tools and not really looking at the transformation that can happen when you integrate the AI tools into the workflow, and that's where the real meat is and real efficiencies come out. So the way I wanted to kind of challenge the team is not just focus on pilots. Though that time is gone, now we need to focus on building scale on top of the pilots. You need to kind of bring in the real world challenges and then solve them through AI. And that was my challenge to the team. It is not to keep up with me or anything personally, but I was referring to keeping up with AI. Every day things change. The model you use today is maybe the worst model you will use because tomorrow's model is better. And that is the pace we are talking about, and we need to keep up with that pace.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest, like AI has been a topic for the last year, and everyone just keep hearing it and it's kind of a trending and thing. So what do you think is actually different right now, and why is it so important to really have it on scope?
Yeah, so why AI now, right? And what is different? The way I look at it is that this is bigger than any of the technology shifts and technology cycles which has happened in the past. AI is starting to reshape how organizations operate, compete, and then create value. Clients are moving, competitors are moving, and the gap between the laggards and the leaders is kind of completely expanding by the day. So if you're sitting on the fence and waiting for the perfect moment to embrace or embark on the AI journey, you might be just rolled out by your competition or by the industry. So a lot of ground realities are shifting. And another piece which is actually really adding value is that we are seeing a lot of use cases which are creating an operational impact to the organizations. So you combine all of this, and then that is what is kind of pushing everybody, not just us as an organization, but all the organizations to kind of embrace AI now and don't wait for that perfect moment or when you have perfect clarity and then embark on it. And I can give you an example in our industry, right? On the packaging side, even small improvements in the packaging life cycle has a big impact on the scale. So that's where I think we'll have to focus on now and not wait for the perfect moment. And that is the call for my teams and then how I'm trying to push that mandate within 5flow.
Yeah, so to really also keep up with the speed of the market, right? And the competitors and everything. Okay.
And the shift isn't coming anymore. It is already here. So I want to kind of send a message saying that there's nothing tomorrow, something is going to change or whatever. I don't want us to be in tomorrow. It is already happening now. We need to move now.
Yeah. So what do you think it actually means, or this disruption really means for the teams, the people that are working in packaging, like brand managers, artwork managers? What would change, or what do they need to change?
I think the way I see it is right. I think one of the fundamental shifts is if you look at our artwork operator, for example, right? So there are a lot of things our artwork operators or PMs or compliance managers, QC analysts, they do things beyond their work, which is some of the dirty work, for lack of a better word, to kind of organize a brief in a structured manner. Briefs come in different fashion from our clients, or cleaning up the files, finding files. These friction or the work which they should not do are doing today because of the systems which we have built over the years which do not talk. So the way I want the brand managers, our operators, and everybody to think about this is only going to help them do better and remove all the dirty work and then the friction which is happening today. So it is a mode of real excitement, which is giving them time to focus on the strategic work, not just getting hung up with the day-to-day grunt work. So that's the way I see it. It's an opportunity for the friction to be enabled or removed, and that will help people to focus on more strategic stuff.
Yeah, so they don't have to be actually scared that they will be removed by the AI, right? So just to be improved, maybe, right?
Yeah, I see that. I mean, it's not my quote, but this is one of my favorite quotes. AI will not replace people. People who use AI will replace people who don't use AI.
Mm-hmm.
The way for us to work will be, we have to embrace AI and we have to work humans and AI together to get to an unprecedented scale, which none of us have seen before. I think that we should take out the fear, embrace it, and then walk into the journey.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. I like that quote a lot, actually.
I don't know who said it, but it's been used a lot, but I just really like that very much.
You already talked about it a little bit, but AI means different things for different industries, right? So when you think about packaging and brand workflows, what problems are you most focused on solving also within FiveFlow?
So the key problems, if you look at it, right, are related to workflow. For example, I briefly mentioned about the briefing. The briefs come from our clients in different formats. Somebody sends in Word documents, some sends in templates, some send an email. All of this nuanced information, which is valuable for us to kind of do the artwork, comes in very unstructured format today. So how can AI help take all of these briefs, structure it, and give clear instructions down the stream? That is one big area of focus, which will bring out and reduce the friction across various, because everybody understands exactly what the brief is. It is not interpreted by one person and another person, but it is clearly articulated, and the system does that. The second part of where I see that a lot of repetitive human work which happens today, which is important. For example, if there's a regulation change, there are hundreds of SKUs get updated, and everything had to be QC. And that QC today is manual, and that is the biggest bottleneck, and it kind of consumes a lot of time. So we are looking at AI-assisted QC tools, which can speed up the QC. And that helps in the overall end-to-end life cycle from a brand getting from an idea to shelf. And that's the process what we are looking at to remove those bottlenecks. So that's where I kind of see that AI focus on removing these bottlenecks. I'll give you another example, right? Similar to if one team, these are all, if you look at multiple teams in a workflow, if one team actually adopts AI and starts building content 5 times faster, and the next team is actually a manual team waiting all of these content to manually review it, still it is a bottleneck. End-to-end process has not changed. You've moved the bottleneck from step 1 to step 2, but you have not solved anything. And that is where we need to look at completely reimagining the workflow. How can AI native workflow be in the context of today? And then how can we remove those bottlenecks and make the real efficiency happen? So that's where we are right now focusing on from a packaging standpoint.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So, like in practical terms, what would the AI adoption actually look for teams?
Yeah, I think AI adoption to start with has been slow. But the way I see this hockey stick coming up clearly, where once they see the AI embedded in the workflow and then you see the bottlenecks removing, the scale is going to be huge, and then the adoption is going to increase. I'll throw even another example. Recently, what we did in Propelis, we've launched Copilot, and we gave 1,000 enterprise licenses to various different users, employees across the globe. And within 4 weeks, there were 100 agents developed. People created various solutions. We've saved close to 6,000 hours, and then the impact has been $500,000 in 4 weeks without any churn mandate.
Okay. Wow.
So that is what we are dealing with. We are not dealing with a known problem which we have encountered in the past, or a known solution where we know how to do it and a standard change management process to be applied. No, it's a completely different world, and I think we are all learning as part of this journey. That's the excitement part, but I don't see adoption as a problem at all. It is just the initial inertia to do something new is a problem, but once they drink the Kool-Aid, there's no stopping.
So do you think it needs a lot of preparation in order to start, or do you think to just, get in, start, learn, hands-on?
So if you look at it, right, I think the way the journey, at least from an enterprise standpoint of view, if you look at it, the first step is to kind of give AI as a tool. Get people used to it, get people familiarized with, give one of the chatbots, get them comfortable with, and remove the fear out of their heads around AI. Step 2 will be how now can we actually integrate this AI within the workflow so that it is seamless. If you give them a tool, it is still optional whether they use it or not. But once you embed it in a workflow, it is seamless, and that kind of brings in the real efficiency. That is what I see step 2. Step 3 is where it is more AI-led but human-governed. Step 3. And that is where all the enterprises will really get the value out of scale and bring the real solutions out. And step 4 is kind of doing this even better and faster, where the human has a lot more time to focus on strategic stuff. So these are the 4 steps in my head, how things will actually evolve. And most of the organizations are still maybe in step 1 and step 2 or in between that. And that's the journey for us to kind of get there.
Yeah, great. So I think you already talked about it, but what is the potential impact beyond efficiency? You said, for example, quality insurance, stuff like that.
I think it's like this, Sarah. If I say you finish all your work, you have done everything what you should do today, and you have 4 more hours, what would you do? And that is the challenge we'll all face. And the way the excitement is, if we are able to do, efficiency comes with the quality of work, absolutely. But also it opens up so much time for us to focus on strategic stuff. So every individual can actually focus on a problem or a strategic stuff which they could not focus earlier. So it is beyond efficiencies, opening doors to being much more productive and being a completely different productive employee and a strategic employee for the enterprise.
Great, thank you. Okay, so there's a maturity spectrum for AI adoption, from ad hoc use to fully automated workflows. Where do you think in our industry are the most companies at?
From an AI maturity standpoint of view, I think most companies are still early in the AI maturity. There is a lot of ad hoc AI usage. There's lack of governance, no shared workflow, fragmented adoption, if you will. So I think it's still early stages in the maturity curve, if you will. And the companies are in between the middle of experimentation and integration, if you will, right? So that's the journey they are right now. And a lot of the employees, they want to do it individually. They are deploying the tools on their own. But as an organization, to have a mandate, to have a governance, to make sure the security is on top, and then make sure that every tool has the right impact, that governance is still big time missing. And I think that's where we as Propelis right now, we are focusing within FiveFlow as well, how enterprise governance, workflow integration, and scale adoption is our next future, if you will. That's what I think we are focusing on. And the companies who intentionally talk about this gap can close it. But That is the self-awareness which all the companies should go, but I feel still they are early in the maturity curve.
Okay. What would you say to someone in the packaging or brand space, like who's still on the fence about how seriously this really is?
I will just ask them if they are still in 2026 or what is the date today. But yeah, on a serious note, right? I think the question isn't whether AI will change this industry or not. It is already has. The question is whether you are shaping up how it is going to impact your business or not. That is the real right question. And the question is not whether AI is actually impacting your industry at all. Because being AI first or being AI company doesn't mean throwing bunch of tools. It is how we are actually using these tools to build a closed loop intelligence so that every job gets better than the previous job. So that intelligence has to be built in and that thinking has to come in. But if somebody's still on the fence, then I will just show them the time on watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also like it creates pressure, which is great and a great opportunity, I think, to really look at workflows, look at efficiency, look at the processes, right? To really align it and prepare it. Because I also think that, I think some people think they will just implement AI and everything is solved, but you still need to have workflows that are AI ready.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then that's where the agentic development comes in so much. AI agents have been really a big thing right now, is because AI tool can earlier, if you look at it, there was AI tool was doing a job, another AI tool was doing another job. But how to connect these two AI tools to get a maximum impact and to scale, that piece was missing. And that is where agentic AI development has come in, where you can actually harness the power of multiple AI tools or multiple systems and then create an ecosystem where companies can actually leapfrog and then set up for scale. And that's where the maximum benefits would be. Pilots will not give value. It is when you scale it is when enterprises will really see the value.
Yeah. So now I think everybody's very excited to hear a bit more about what we're actually planning at FiveFlow. Like, what's the vision? What are we working on?
Yeah, sure. I think the core principles from FiveFlow, from a future standpoint of view, and how we are thinking about the product development and what we are building is, key principles are, what are we augmenting? Are we augmenting additional tools for the people? Is it automating? Are we automating any repetitive existing process? Are we accelerating? Are we accelerating any of the execution right now? Or are we differentiating, creating core APIs and solutions which we can actually differentiate in the market? So these are the core principles. I'll repeat again as augment, automate, accelerate, and differentiate. Those are our core principles at FiveFlow. And applying these core principles, we are applying it in all the workflow, in the packaging workflow, and looking at every single bottleneck and how can we apply these principles, whether we can automate or create an IP or create some other addition tool to the packaging art worker. But the principle is the same, and we are applying that lens into the life cycle of the packaging workflow.
That's very exciting. I'm very also excited to be a part of it. Yeah.
You are very, very much a core part of the FiveFlow build.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I think we're at the end. Thank you so much, Sriram. So I think, like, if we could sum it together, it's really like, it's not like AI is starting. We're already there. We're in the middle of it, and it's really time to hop on, to get started, to not be afraid. I think not be afraid to just go for it, right?
Yep. Absolutely. And the way I see is that future belongs to the companies who are not just experimenting, but it belongs to the companies who can figure this out and scale. And I think from FiveFlow and Propelis standpoint of view, I want us to be that. And that is part of my job and my mission to kind of get us there. So very exciting times. I'm really, really excited. I'm not just laughing, but I'm genuinely excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So thank you very much, Sriram, for kicking off the first episode with us. Thank you for your insights, for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I think it was a pleasure.
Absolutely.